The house was buzzing with laughter and excitement. Letters filled the living room, women fussed over your hanbok and dress fittings, and Seo-jun's mother had already begun dictating the seating arrangements for the ceremony. You tried to smile, tried to match their joy, but your chest carried an unusual heaviness that you couldn't explain. Vienna, Seojin called softly, appearing behind you with that boyish grin that had once charmed you into giving him a chance. He tucked a stray hair behind your ear, his touch tender. You look tired. Want to take a break? You forced a smile. I'm fine, Seojin. Just overwhelmed. He chuckled, leaning closer. Well, it's not every day my bride prepares to marry me. You're allowed to be overwhelmed. The word bride caught in your chest. You gave a small nod, hiding your unease before you could reply, a deep voice echoed from the doorway. Overwhelmed, huh? That doesn't sound like you. Your entire body froze. That voice, husky, smooth, acted into the deepest corners of your memory. You turned slowly, your breath catching. Taehyung. He stood there, framed by the doorway. Sunlight spilling across his sharp features. His hair was slightly longer now, brushing his forehead, and his tailored suit hugged his tall frame. Time had only made him more devastatingly handsome, more mature, more untouchable. Your fingers trembled against your dress. Your heart thundered so loudly you were afraid Seojin could hear it. Young, Seojin's face lighted up as he rushed over. He pulled the young into a tight hug, patting his back. You are finally here. We thought you wouldn't make it for the wedding. The young's eyes, however, weren't on his younger brother. They were locked on you, unblinking, heavy. Like the last few years hadn't passed at all. I wouldn't miss my brother's wedding. Taehyung murmured, his deep voice low and controlled, but his gaze burned into yours, unrelenting. You swallowed hard and forced your lips to curve. Welcome back, Taehyung. See, it's been a long time. The formality tasted bitter on your tongue. You once called him Taehyunga in whispered breaths, in laughter, in now all you could offer was distance. The young's lips twitched almost bitterly. It has been. Seojin oblivious to the tension thickening the air between the two of you. Wyan, he just returned from abroad. Isn't it amazing he came back just in time for our wedding? You nodded stiffly, your palms sweating. Yes, it's nice to see him. The young tilted his head, his eyes softening as he studied your face. Nice to see you too, he said slowly, like each word carried the weight of years unsaid. Seojin laughed, patting Taehyung's shoulder. Young, you'll be my best man, no excuses. You're staying for everything. The dinners, the ceremony, all of it. Taehyung's eyes flickered, a storm hidden beneath his calm exterior. Of course, wouldn't dream of missing it. His stomach twisted. The thought of you standing next to Seojin on your wedding day, watching you vow yourself to his brother, made his chest ache unbearably. Wyan, Seojin said cheerfully, why don't you show Young around? I'll be right back. Mom's calling me. Before you could protest, Seojin dashed off, leaving you alone with the man who had once been your everything. Silence thickened between you. The young's gaze never left you, and under its weight, your composure cracked. You shouldn't be here, you whispered, your voice trembling. He stepped closer, the familiar scent of his cologne wrapping around you suffocatingly and nostalgic. His jaw clenched. I couldn't stay away. Your throat tightened. You left Taeyong. You made your choice. His eyes darkened, pain flickering through them. You think it was easy for me to walk away from you? From us? Your chest heaved. Then why did you? For a moment his mask slipped, regret and longing raw on his face. But then he straightened, forcing control back into his expression. Because I had no choice. He murmured, his voice low and hoarse. I had my own reasons. But looking at you now, about to marry my brother, God, Ryan, it feels like I'm dying all over again. Your lips parted, but no words came. Your heart screamed at you to step back to protect yourself, but your body betrayed you. Leaning over so slightly closer to him, drawn like a moth to flame. Taehyung is your cousin, step cousin in real. From the very beginning, you and Taehyung had been drawn to each other like two stars caught in the same orbit. It wasn't sudden, nor was it the kind of love that blazed bright and faded quickly. Instead, it was slow, steady, and deeply rooted, something that began in the quiet hallways of your high school and blossomed as you grew together. You both kept it hidden, shielding your relationship from the curious eyes of classmates, friends, and even family. The secrecy wasn't born from shame, but from a fragile need to protect something so precious. Nobody knew, not even Seojin, Taehyung's younger stepbrother and closest confidant, who himself had harbored a quiet admiration for you. Your love continued into college, stronger than ever, built on shared dreams, whispered promises, and countless stolen moments. But even in its beauty, there was a shadow you never could quite shake. Taehyung's burden of expectations. As the adopted son of Seojin's parents, he was always grateful, always trying to prove himself worthy of the family that never once treated him like an outsider. He carried their hopes silently, wearing the weight of belonging like armor, never letting anyone see how much it pressed on him. You knew his struggles, you felt his fears, and you held his hand, though every breakdown. Yet even your love wasn't enough to shield him from the choices he would one day be forced to make. The day he broke up with you, saying he don't love you anymore. The day he left for abroad shattered you in ways words could never capture. There was no warning, no gentle goodbye that could soften the blow. Only the echo of his decision, the choice to pursue a career opportunity that tore him away from you. He had promised you the world, and then in a single moment, it felt like he had taken it back. You didn't know the truth, the circumstances that had cornered him into leaving, only that he had broke your heart and abandoned you at the very moment you thought your future together was secure. In the silence that followed his departure, and depression seeped into your veins like poison. The bed felt too big, the nights too long, and every corner of your life felt haunted by him. But time, cruel as it was, also taught you to survive. Slowly, you learn to breathe without him, to wake up without expecting his text, to walk through a day without hoping to see him around the corner. The sharp edges of your grief dulled with the years, but the scar remained. It acted deep into your soul. Just when you had finally convinced yourself that you could live without Taeyong, his parents approached you with a marriage proposal, and when you hear Seojin's name, your heart stuttered. Seojin, the boy who had always been kind, who had always looked at you with quiet affection but never dared to overstep. He was Taehyung's brother, but not by blood. Still, the very thought made you hesitate. At first, you said no. The idea of tying yourself to Seojin felt like a betrayal, not only to Taehyung but to yourself too. The love you had once vowed was eternal. But Seojin was patient, respectful, and gentle in his persistence. He never pressured you, never demanded your hand, but simply told you that he was willing to wait, and after months of weighing the burden of your loneliness against the possibility of giving someone new a chance, finally agreed. Maybe you told yourself Eugene could help you forget. Maybe a new love could replace the one that still bled quietly in the corners of your heart. In the years that followed, Eugene proved himself everything a partner could be. He was warm, attentive, and endlessly supportive. He never once made you feel guilty for your initial hesitation, nor did he push for emotions you weren't ready to give. The To the outside world, you were a happy couple, a love story unfolding with all the blessings of your families. But deep inside, where shadows of the past still lingered, you knew that while Sujin had your present, he didn't fully have your heart. That part, the most fragile, most scared piece of you, had been locked away the day Taehyung walked away. And then, just when you were on the verge of starting a new chapter with wedding bells ringing, flowers being arranged, and vows being rehearsed, Taehyung returned. His presence was like a storm crashing into the calm surface of a lake, stirring everything you thought you had buried. The years of distance vanished the moment your eyes met his again. The ache, the love, the longing you had tried so hard to suppress come rushing back, uninvited and unstoppable. For Taehyung, the years had only sharpened his love for you, and though you didn't yet know it, every decision he had made, even leaving you, had been rooted in that very love. Now caught between the life you had promised to Seojin and the heart that still beat violently for Taeyong, you found yourself standing at the edge of a choice that could shatter more than just your own world. Seojin adored his stepbrother, treated him like blood, like a part of his soul. To choose Taeyong now would mean tearing a bond that had never been strained before. But to walk away from him again, when he had finally come back, when his eyes told you he had never stopped loving you, felt like commending yourself to a lifetime of what ifs. And as the wedding day drew nearer, the question that haunted you most was no longer whether you had moved on, but whether you had ever truly let Taehyung go.